Hello, guys. Good afternoon. So, uh, we have got 29 participants as of now. Let's wait for another 2 3 minutes and then we will start. I hope everyone is able to see my screen and hear my voice, right? Okay. Just 2 3 minutes more and we will start. So, okay, let's start. Uh, the topic that we'll be covering today is basically transaction management in JDBC. So, let me first copy some code and create another copy of it so that we can experiment with the new code and the old code remains intact. So just hold on. So assume this is a class. I've given it the name test connection transaction, and as usual, it has got some of the statements. Let me just get rid of the older ones. Like for example, I do not want this thing and this. And let me so we have got all the steps. The step one is register the driver class as usual, getting the connection or creating the connection, the second step, creating the statement object is the third step, execute the query as the fourth step. Now what I am going to do is that I am going to duplicate this query a number of times. Say for example, say for example thrice. And every time I execute this insert query, let me put a print statement that can print the number of records affected throughout the code. So let me say I want to print system.out.println uh, number number of records affected is equal to, and this variable is basically going to give me the number of records which are affected because of this particular query. And every time another query fires, this record affected is going to be updated by the number of rows which are affected. So basically this is the insert query, so every time only one record will be affected. So for the first system.println here, we will get the output as number of records affected is equal to 1. For the second, we will get uh, the number of records affected 2, and for the third, we will get the number of records affected 3. Yes, I will have to change the data for all of them. But before that, let's try to understand what is the meaning of transaction in terms of SQL statements, or in terms of JDBC, JDBC, you know, statements. So a transaction is said to be uh, associated with the integrity of the database. So that means if I have got one or more, rather more than one, rather more than one statements that are going to make certain changes to the database, or rather which are going to manipulate the state of the database or the data. So we say that all these statements, say for example here we have got three insert statements, so all these three insert statements are said to be, or will be said to be, in one transaction if either all of them succeed or neither of the three succeeds. Okay, so that means if for example the first statements, that is about inserting this particular line which is highlighted, if this statement is succeeded, and if second also succeeded, and let me assume that the third statement, this execute update, it fails. So in that case, what happens, the effect of the first two insert statements should also be rolled back. That means that it should be behaved as if these statements were never executed. So the database state should be in the previous state prior to the execution of this first execute update query, which is having the insert statement inside it. So that's the whole idea. It, in simple terms, a transaction, a number of SQL statements when executed in transaction are said to be uh, uh, within the same transaction when either all of them execute successfully or none of them are executed at all. Uh, any question? Okay, recording. I keep on forgetting. Okay. It's already late, although, but I will start the recording, or rather, I will share the recorded version of the upgrade. So if I try to make you understand by giving a more realistic example, then consider the case of a bank transaction. So every one of you must be doing the NEFT transaction or IMPS transaction, right? So what you do is you basically add a pay and then try to pay certain amount to the pay or transfer a certain amount to the pay. Uh, Many times you must have seen that you try to do a particular transaction and the amount is debited from your account, and then after a while, within a few minutes, you get a message that your transfer was not successful and the amount is being refunded to your account, right? So assume the situation is implemented in such a way that this bank application has got the database for itself, say uh, 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 say by the name of the bank itself, and it has got a table which has got accounts table, which has got different account number and the total amount which is available for the transaction for that particular person, and for any operation withdraw or deposit, that particular amount should keep on changing. And then there should be another table, the transaction, where the account number is the foreign key, and the transactions, whatever transaction that you do, for example, you have done IMPS transaction or NEFT transaction. So once the transaction is successful and it is reflected that the amount has been transferred to the beneficiary's account in the same bank branch or in some other bank's branch, so the transaction number, the amount for the transaction, everything is updated afterwards, right? So whenever you attempt a transaction, the first step that will be done is basically that your amount is withdrawn. So for example, if you want to transfer to some of the pays account rupees 10,000, your amount should be deducted by 10,000 immediately, and then an attempt is being made to send a message to the to the other bank uh, beneficiary that you have added as a pay, that please add this much amount from to that beneficiary because this person has transferred the same amount. So once he gets a confirmation, once your bank gets a confirmation from the other bank, then the bank updates the other table, that is the transaction table, for example. But in case for some reason, maybe the account of the beneficiary does not allow the NEFT transfer. This happens when you open a account very recently, and things are not activated over there. Sometimes it happens, and everyone must have faced it some day or the other. So in that case, the transaction fails, and then the transaction table is updated with the transaction failure message, and then your the money which has been deducted should be, you know, uh, uh, the deduction should be rolled back. That means the effect of deduction, the amount that has been deducted, should no longer be persisted in that state. Rather, the older state has to be recovered back. So this is just a typical example across the two tables in the same database. So what I am assuming with my example is that I am working on the same table, and for me the transaction, I will assume that this transaction for these three statements are going to succeed if all the three statements execute successfully, and even the failure of any one of the statement would lead to, you know, basically the rollback of the effect of the previous statements, whether they be a single statement or two statements before. So agree till now? Muhammad Aman says, "Sir, can you share the transaction.java file?" You mean this particular file, test connection transaction.java? Aman? Okay. I'm yet typing the code in front of you. So once done, I will transfer, in fact, all these files. I've got I think 4 or 5 files till now. So I will basically send you all these files on your WhatsApp group. Okay, so you can play with. So I hope as of now the concept is clear, right? So basically, transaction means if there are more than one SQL statements which are affecting maybe the one table or multiple tables, then either every statement are going to succeed or none of them are going to succeed. So to make the thing more clear, let me do one thing. Okay, as of now, if I try to run this insert statement, say insert into Jamia Hamza dot student serial number, enrollment number, name, age, course, semester, and the value is 11, and then other details. So details are basically copied because I've copied the query. So if let me go and check the state of the database as of now, looking at the state of this database, what do you think is going to happen if I try to fire the query as of now? If I just try to run this program, what will happen? You can type in the chat box. Here is the code. Let me type in the. Let me post the code in your chat box first, so that you can easily see it. And then here is the state of the database. So Piyush says primary key error. Yeah, Piyush, basically not the primary key error, but the duplicate entry. It will complain of the duplicate key. So it will treat it as a duplicate record. So the message that you will get is very much similar to duplicate values trying to be inserted. So basically, you get exception, right? You get exception. So if I want to insert the record, then I must insert with the serial number that are after 21 or any serial number which does not exist already. So 21 record with serial number 21 is already inserted. So let me go with 22. Let me start with 22, and then let the other details be as it is, and then here let me make it 23, and let me just change the name Aman, and let me say it's 76, and to make it 24 4. Although only the serial number needs to be changed for successful execution of the program, this statement, but still I am changing everything. Okay, XYZ for example. Okay, so now let me do one thing. I am putting a breakpoint over here. As you know, the breakpoint is something. If I run this program in the debug mode, then the breakpoint is the line on which the control is going to stop, and then I have a option to execute each line one by one to see the effect. And even I can see the uh, what are the values for the state variables and the local variables. So this utility is very much helpful when you have got a problem and you want to see, and this is also helpful when you want to understand the flow of the program. So let me run this program in the debug mode. Instead of going as run as Java application, I will go debug as Java application. So this is what I am going to do. it will ask me to go to the debug perspective. You see the perspective has changed from Java to debug, and the control has come over here into this line where I put the debug point, and it is stopped over here. So as soon as I press Fn plus F6, one line will be executed. And then Fn plus F6 again, then the second line is executed, and it says number of records affected is equal to 1. And so I can expect a record of with serial number 22 should have been inserted into the database. So let's go and check the state of the database. It is showing 21 as of now. Let me refresh it, and you can see 22 has come. So again, let me go for execution of the second statement with Fn plus F6. Function basically Fn stands for function key. So I am using function key and pressing the F6 button. So the second statement, the second insert statement is executed, and the system.out.println prints the number of records affected till now. It means from the previous insert statement and from this insert statement, it's 2, right? So let's go and see the state of the database. Again, let me refresh it, and you can see that another record has been inserted. So the point is, with every single line of execution, uh, sorry, every single line of execution, as you can see with the third line also, that the number of records affected is equal to 3, and this record must also have been come to the database. So with every single line of execution, what happens is that uh, the effect of the execution of that statement is uh, persisted into the database. So what is actually happening is, uh, uh, for each and every execution of the insert statement, or whatever statement it be, whether it be update statement or a delete statement, whatever it could be, uh, there is something like a commit instruction is being sent to the database along with the execute update method call. So that's automatic. So whenever you fire a execute update with a query, whether it's an insert query or a delete query or a update query, whatever, by default, as of now, a commit statement is being sent to the database, and the record or the state of the database is changed after each and every single execution of the statement. And this is happening because uh, by default, the connection object, I can use this connection object to set auto commit. There is a method auto commit, and this set auto commit is by default set to true. Whether I do this particular thing, uh, this particular line, whether I write this line or not, it doesn't matter. It is already set to auto commit is equal to true. So this line means that for every statement, for the first statement, like for example this statement, as soon as it is executed, a commit instruction will be sent to the database, and the effect of this insert statement will be made permanent to the database. Similarly, when this second statement runs, then also a commit instruction will be sent to the database, and again the change state of the database is made permanent. And once it is made permanent, it cannot be rolled back until you fire another delete or delete query on your own. So this is what happens naturally. So set auto commit is true by default. Now, if I want to make these three statements as a part of one single transaction, that means they should, what I want to say is, they should be committed as together as a unit of operation, a single unit of operation, right? So what I can do is, I can say this auto commit is false, and that line basically marks the beginning of my first transaction. that marks the beginning of my first transaction. And similarly, when everything is done, and here after the three execution of the three insert statements, when I say con dot commit, then this basically marks the end of the above transaction. Marks the end of the above transaction. So you will be rest assured that until unless you reach to this particular line, that is con.commit, the state change of the database will not happen because of any of these queries, right? So even though if I fire that I want to insert into Jamia Hamza this print serial number this and this, for say for example for the value 24 is already inserted, let me say for 25, this record will not be inserted, and for 26 also this record will not be inserted, and for 27 also this record will not be inserted. Although the instructions are passed to the database, they will be put on a hold from the database server side until you send the instruction for committing. You say explicitly that I want to commit all these three insert statements, all these three SQL statements. Once you say commit, it will start inserting the first statement. That is, the effect of the first statement is will be made to the database. It's still not permanent. It will wait for the second statement to run, and the database will see, the server will see whether the second statement has run successfully or not. It is still in the transitional state. The database state is not made safe. Say, for example, the third execute update. This fails for some reason. For example, here instead of 27, I again missed to type the same serial number 26. Now this will be a duplicate key. So in this case, this particular statement is going to throw an exception, whereas the other two statement, in the case when auto commit was true, would have been persisted permanently in the database, but because the auto commit is false, their effect will not be persisted into the database as at the permanent level, but they will still just go and wait. The instructions will go and the database server will wait for the last statement before the con.commit statement runs to be successful. Say for example, if this is not successful, then the effect of these two statements will be undone. So I this is something like, if any of the statement fails, neither of the three insert will work, and if all are successful, then only you can see the effect, the permanent effect of all the three instruction getting to the database. So basically, when you say con.set auto commit is equal to false, this is the beginning of the first transaction. And then when you say con.commit is equal to con.commit, then that marks the end of the transaction. Then for further transactions, what you can do is you can just keep on copying, say another, let me say we have got another two records over here, and let me paste them here. And now let me say the number of records are 27, this is 28, and this is 29. And now when I say con.commit, this line is going to mark the end of the second transaction, which begins at this point. Agreed? Anuj Razan, yes, serial number which does not exist should be entered because serial number is the primary key. If you enter the same serial number, then what will happen is that the primary key violation will occur, and the duplicate key will be considered, and you will get an exception. Yeah, Rajdeep, you can set the serial number as auto increment. That's one point. But because I intentionally tend to show you that any of the statements fail, then the whole of the transaction should be undone. So that's why I'm not using the auto increment. Rather, I will make it to uh, make the exception to occur with this particular example. Any more doubts? So forth. Anuj says the auto commit false. So what is the question, Anuj? What is the main reason of not working? You mean not working of the program means? Okay, let me repeat. Probably there is a confusion. What I want to say is that basically, by default, the set auto commit is always true by default. Whether I write this line set auto commit is equal to true or not, it doesn't matter. So by default, it's always true. But when I explicitly set this value as a false value, that means now for each and every execution of the execute update statements or the SQL statement in general, uh, that statement individually will not have a commit effect until and unless I give a commit instruction explicitly, like in this line, con.commit. Okay, so when this happens, even there are a number of SQL statements which are in sequence, they will line up for their effect to show to the database, and they will not be persisted to the database. Their effect will not be persisted to the database unless and until this con.commit is if this instruction is sent from my end. So that means all the instructions, say for example in this from here to here, there are three instructions. So all these three instructions are in one transaction. They are in one transaction. If any of them fails, then you will get have an exception. And once you get the exception, the control will go to the cache block, right? And once you go to the cache block, you basically have an option to basically say con dot roll back. Let's say con dot roll back. So this means that something has gone wrong, and whatever the statement whatever the previous statement for the insert statement I have sent to the database, now I am sending the database another hint that just discard those changes and roll back the database state to the previous original state. Okay, so beginning from here to here, this is one transaction which contains three insert statements, and then beginning from here to here, the another transaction that contains two insert statements. Fine. Now let me allow the first transaction to be successful for my demonstration purpose. So the value of the serial number 25, 26, and 27, they are in order as required. And in the second transaction that starts from here, I do not need to say con dot set auto commit is equal to false again over here because it's already false over there, right? Assume that there were any more statements which you do not want to be put as a part of any other transaction. There are so many statements, equal statements in between, equal statements in between that you do not want to be part of any transactions section. Then only you will say con dot auto commit is equal to true, and then you will write those SQL statements, SQL statements, and you will fire the query. And then again, now you will have to basically you have to do something like this: con dot set auto commit is equal to false again, to mark the start of the next transaction. So is that okay? Anush says, is the real time transaction set auto commit true is always follow the condition? Is in real time transaction set auto commit true is always follow this condition? Can we do transaction via RMI? See, Anuj, whatever we are doing, we are filing a statement that is real time. I do not understand what you mean when you say in the real time transaction set auto commit true is always follow this condition. By default, set auto commit is true is always there. This is the fact. But when you want to add up two or three or four statements, SQL statements into one transaction, so that all should either fail or all should pass, then in that case, I should explicitly mention the auto commit as false, so that the database should not start persisting the state automatically, and should wait for my instruction. When I say con.commit, then only it should persist the state of all the inline waiting statements, the effect of all those statements. So that is why we say that if there are n number of statements, SQL statements in a transaction, then they are treated as a one unit of work, and either they all succeed or they all fail. Rajdeep, can we do transaction via RMI? Uh, Rajdeep, whether you are firing the SQL query, whether from the RMI remote method invocation, that's a distributed piece of code. It doesn't matter, because basically you are going to get the stub of the particular piece of code which is going to do the transition, and it is basically be using the driver class. So before even before you the instructions will be sent one by one, as the normal class do. So once you say set auto commit is equal to false, the code on the client side is going to send this instruction first, and the code on the server side, which is basically actually being called, that will get the instruction. So yes, there is no problem with that as well. Moreover, for distributed components, the containers, RMI is a very raw level technology, right? So basically, you are going to use some distributed components, like for example, Enterprise Java Beans or something else. So that has got one flexibility, that the application server that you use, they provide their own transaction capability, and that's much more advanced in nature. So you can use their transaction capability as well to make things more smooth. So, any other doubts? Shall we proceed? Okay. So, with this code, my intention is that this first transaction, which contains the these three SQL statements, should be successful, and the command should work. And because we don't have any SQL statement in between, which we do not want to put in the transaction, uh, so let me just get rid of all this code. Let me put it into the comment so that it is available for you to refer the understanding. So it's assumed this code is not there. So the con.commit is there, and still auto commit is false. With the same auto commit false instruction, we proceed with the second transaction. So this transaction contains two statements, and we deliberately be willing to fail one of the transactions, one of the statements. Say here, I will say 28. The serial number is 28 for both the statements. The first statement should be a successful one, but the second statement should give me a duplicate key, the exception for the duplicate key. So in that case, the control should move from this place, and the system.print and then this line should not be printing the updated record affected, and from here it will jump to directly to the cache block, and so con.commit statement will also be not be sent to the database. So the first con.commit should be successful. This the statement, the first three statements should be executed successfully as one unit, and you can see you should be in a position to see the result. Whereas when you come here, you should this con.commit is not executed because I will get exception in this line, and these two lines will not be executed at all, and the control will come to the rollback. The control will come to the rollback, and this instruction, when sent to the database, it is going to discard the effect of these two statements which are already in the waiting state to be made persistent in the database, and none of the two statements will succeed in that case. So what I will expect is neither the record with serial number 28, uh, the first statement is going to execute, second is obviously going to throw an exception. So all we will be in a position to see is the insertion till serial number 27. So shall we try it, or is there any other doubts? Okay, so let me try. So again, I will go in the debug mode, and let me debug as Java application. So the control has come after the set auto commit is false, that is already executed, and then it has come to the first statement. This line has already executed, the highlighted line with the blue. So let me keep on going one by one. Fn plus F6. So this statement is executed, the first insert, and even after the first is executed and I get a message number of records affected is equal to 1. See, so I as in the case earlier, when set auto commit was not set explicitly false, the record 25 would have been expected to be inserted in the database when I do the refresh over here. But here, let me try this, and you see with refresh nothing is happening. That particular effect of the insertion of that particular statement is still waiting with the database server. The database server is kept the effect of that statement into the hold unless and until it sees the instruction from my Java client, my Java code for the commit operation. So that is not inserted. So basically what you see on the screen, that one record is the number of record affected is 1. That's basically in a transition state. That's false. So when I say Fn plus F6, you see the second statement execution, that is inserting the value with serial number 26. And again, because I am printing on the console, it will say the number of records affected is 2. But in the database, this record is also not inserted. You can see only 24 is there. So 25 and 26 both are waiting. And then when I again proceed further, you see with the third sequence insert statement, so it will say number of records affected is equal to 3. So that again means the 3 records are still waiting in the database, and actually in the database, because there is no commit operation being sent, nothing has happened and no insertion has taken place. But as soon as this particular line con.commit, if I press Fn plus F6 now, the instruction will be sent to the database that because these 3 statements are successful, Please just try to make the make the effect of this statement as a permanent and change the state of the database. So this is how we maintain the integrity of the database due to a transaction. So let me say fn plus f6, and the commit has been sent to the database. And let me now go to the database and refresh again. Now you see, just out of sudden, the three records are inserted: 25, 26, and 27. All these records are inserted in one go because they are in one transaction. If any of the insert statement would have been failed, for but that matter, if there would have been an update statement or a delete statement or a combination of these statements, doesn't matter. In different table, doesn't matter. Unless and until any one of the statement fails, you the effect will not be made permanent to the database at all. So this is what we are going to see with the second transaction, the start of the second transaction. You can see the second transaction start with the insertion of a record with the serial number 28. So let me say fn plus f6, and this statement is executed, and it says number of records already, 3 were inserted. Now what happened? Number of records inserted is 1 again. And let me go to the database and see whether this serial number with 28 has been inserted or not. See, it has not inserted as of yet. Okay, so let me try to execute the second statement, and because this is a faulty statement, it has got the primary key as the same as the primary key of the before statement. Although this has not affected database, but the database has assumed that uh, from its point of view that this has affected, which is not yet persisted. So if I try to execute this one, it will give me an exception. See, it has come to the cache block, SQL non-transition exception. I should have put a rollback over here, which I put in the SQL exception, because this SQL non-transition exception is basically the child of the SQL exception. So this has come. So the rollback should have been here, or rather all the SQL exceptions, SQL related exceptions. The rollback should be duplicated over here. I have not duplicated over here, and you see, I got the exception. SQL integrity constant violation exception, duplicate key entry for 28 for key strings.primary. So this is the exception that I get at this line number. And from this line number, the control has jumped to the first cache block. So these two lines are not executed. So the commit statement has not been sent. Provided I have written this rollback over here, uh, this would have, uh, control Z. So sorry. This would have sent an instruction to the database server that, okay, I am explicitly telling, because I got the exception, I am in the exception block, I got the exception, I realize there is something wrong, so I request you to basically roll back the transaction, right? So this is what should have been done. Anyways, whether I do it or not, because the commit is not encountered, the database state is not going to be changed. You will see that 28th record has not been inserted. Agreed? Any doubts so forth? Any questions? So one thing is sure, if there would have been a rollback statement, this would have rolled back the effect before the first commit statement, before the last commit statement, that is this statement. It is not going to roll back the effect of the statements which occur before the first commit, that is this. So all these are made permanent, so they will not be rolled back. Only the effect of these two statements are going to be rolled back, for which con.commit has not been encountered so far. Okay, so when you say con.rollback, that goes to the previous commit which has not been yet occurred. Can't we just put con.rollback in the finally block? No, Piyush, we cannot put con.rollback in the finally block, because uh, we will be willing to roll back only in the condition when something fails. We do not want to roll back for even the successful transaction. And finally block is something which is going to run no matter what, whether the statements are successful or you get an exception. So in either cases, finally block is going to run. So if you put a rollback over there, that means even though a statement is successful, the rollback statement itself will give an exception, because we have already said con.commit, and that commit is successful. Now the state is permanent. So you see we have got a try catch around this rollback as well, right? This rollback is also surrounded with try and catch. So this means if we put this statement in the finally block, all the commits are already happened in case the statements are successful. So the finally block will still run, and then when this attempt to make a rollback will be done, or the instruction to for a rollback will be sent from the client to the database server, the database server is going to give me exception that rollback is not possible, and that is why we have got a try catch block over here. See, the rollback exception throws a SQL exception. The rollback method throws a SQL exception. Okay. So, one question from my side. I was hoping that you are going to ask me this question, but because no one, put it up first, so let me ask. So, as you have seen, I literally forgot. In fact, I had no intention for doing this in today's class, but I forgot to put a rollback in the right catch block. I thought that probably the exception will come to the SQL exception, but I forgot that there's another exception I have put as SQL non-transition exception, and the control is going to come over here. So, if, as in my case, this con dot rollback was not there, right? I put it after the execution of the program, right? So even though I don't have written the rollback explicitly, the database server is still going to wait for the commit, and while it is not getting the commit operation, the commit instruction from the client side, it is not going to make the state permanent. So it is just like as if it has implicitly rollbacked. So what is the purpose of this rollback statement at all? Why we are forced to write the rollback? What if we do not write a rollback statement? What will happen? Ali Akbar says consistency. Yes, consistency is still there. If I do not say rollback, consistency is still there, because database is not going to automatically commit it until it gets instructions from the client. What if the exception occurred during the rollback? The same thing. In that case, also the rollback instruction will not be sent to the database. And normally, the exception will occur in the rollback for one of the many reasons. One is the communication failure, say database is down. The other is database itself sees that it's not eligible for the rollback. Then also it's going to send me an exception that you cannot do a rollback. When the database itself is telling me that you cannot do a rollback, as in the previous example that I have given when you said, can we put it in the finally block? So that's absolutely fine. There is no reason to worry. Uh, but again, when it happens for some other reason, it's like con.rollback statement is not at all written or not at all encountered. So that is what is my question. So why do we have this control rollback if even though we skip this statement, the database is still not going to persist or roll back. Uh, when the state is not persistent, there is no question of rollback at all. Database is still not going to do that. Any ideas? Are you getting the question or shall I repeat? MS Fras catching a SQL exception tells you that something is wrong, but it does not tell what was or was not committed. See, when you have got a SQL exception because of a statement and within a transaction, so that means some of the statement has failed, and in that case, and that exception has come because of the SQL statements. So that means some of the statement has failed, and when one of the statement is failed, that means you have to do a rollback because the effect of any of the statements which are in the same transaction should not be made permanent to the database. Rajdeep Bharti says rollback till a saving point. Yes, saving point was something that I wanted to you guys to work, uh, but here in my code I have not made a saving point at all. MS Farah says because you cannot count on the fact that nothing was committed. Calling the method rollback is the only way to be certain. Um then Muhammad Aman says server side will be waiting for the command. Yes, both of you are right to your extents. It is in auto commit mode. It is in if it is in auto commit mode. Rollback till a saving point if it is in auto-commit mode. I am joining these two statements by Rajdeep and trying to understand what he want to convey. Rollback till a saving point if it is in auto-commit mode. Oh, you are telling it another reason. No, we have already switched off the auto-commit mode. We have set auto-commit is equal to false, so it's not going to roll back, or it doesn't have to do anything with the rollback then in that case, because for every statement there is a commit mode. If it is auto commit is true, but we have got the situation here when auto commit is false. It will be holding to any logs it has acquired, and that will be changed only when the server side process finally times out, right? So what Ahmad Faraz was saying and what Muhammad Aman was saying, and then again in the second statement also what Muhammad Aman is saying is, yes, the server will be waiting for the command for the instruction, and it's just like you hold a resource in your Java code and then you do not release it. So that resource is stuck, the memory is utilized, and that makes a situation where you are mistreating your resources or mishandling your resources. And in the case when there is a lock, for example, you want to book a ticket in a movie theater and you have got a particular seat. So let the application business is something like that. You choose a particular seat and you select it in the visual display, the two corner seats, and then what happens is you want to do the payment. So uh, the software sees that you are basically a platinum customer. You are a very very good customer for them. You keep on coming for the movies every weekend. So what it will do is uh, it could be a functionality. I am assuming it, not necessarily. So what it will do is it will just lock on those two seats until you make the payment. And if you are not able to make payment in certain amount of time, say 15 minutes or 10 minutes, then only it's going to release the locks. So if if your bank transaction fails and something happens and the ticket is not booked and this rollback statement is not there, so from the application which is booking the ticket for you, the instructions will not be sent to the database server. And in that case, because the resources has acquired a lock on the system has acquired a lock on these two resources, that is the table which is basically indicating booked status for these two seat numbers, say 50 and 51, say for example. So that will be held for a period of time unless the time uh, passes for those 15 minutes, and then only the lock would be released. And in certain situation where this is even not taken care, then the lock could be held for I don't know how many uh, what period of time. So that could be one situation. But you know what? When you say con dot close in the finally block here, when you say con dot close in the finally block, now this is again is dependent on the implementation of the driver class of the database server that you are using. So modern database servers, what they do is when you say con dot close, and if any of the pending commit statements are pending, then they basically send a rollback for them automatically. Okay. So one situation is if you have not closed, if you have not sent the rollback statement, you have not taken care to put a con dot rollback statement in the cache block, or for some reason the rollback doesn't happen, the chances are that depending upon the implementation of the driver, again depends upon the implementation of the driver, because that's a third party driver, that's not the part of the JDBC specification. The Java specification does not oblige to force them to do this. This is something they are going a, a step ahead and they are doing on their own, and most of them, yes, they do. They, while they call con dot close, they also check if any of the transaction is still open, and if it is open and that has got exception occurred, then they will just send the con dot rollback on their own. So most of the time you don't have to worry. Or what you can do is you can always use, instead of just try try with resource, and that will also have the same effect. So try with resource is something which has been added in the later version, say Java 7, I think, of the JDK. So you can go through try with resource what it is. So this is another way of closing such uh, you know uh, transactions. So the transaction should also start within try block itself. So if this is the transaction, this will all go into one try block in that case. So that's it from my side. Any other questions? Everything is okay? Any questions? Okay. So just I'm giving you one link. Uh, this is from general dev, and just let me give you the link and then I will explain what it is. So this is the first assignment. Tomorrow will be the assignment class. I will be giving you certain assignment, and then I'm going to explain you what you have to do with those assignments. So that class will be totally dedicated for just for the assignment explanations, what you have to do. So I hope everyone will join, because that is going to be an important class. And out of those assignment, this is my first assignment. Just go through this link. See, it has got in the table of content transaction management in Java JDBC, JDBC transaction management, and then JDBC save point. So the way I have explained that how within a transaction a particular SQL query may fail, it also have given such a similar situation where where you try to insert a particular value into a particular column city, and the city column at row number 1 is not the value is not being inserted because the data is too long. You can see they have also given here the create table, and in the create table the city column has got only varchar of length 5. So while trying to insert, they have tried to insert in the second statement the value of the city as they have used the prepared statement, right? They have used the prepared statement, and they have inserted the city St. Jose. So that's more than 5 characters, right? So that's why you get a exception over here. So the second query insert into address this statement basically fails. So it is a mimic of the same situation, a similar situation rather, which I have created for you with the duplicate key entry. So you can try out with it, and then I want you to go through with what is a safe point. So just in short, let me tell you, just like you have got in Windows, you can create image of your Windows, and then you can use it to recover later on when your Windows really fails. If you have got some problem in your Windows because of the virus or any other thing, data file is corrupted, whatever, you can always restart the you can always repair the Windows, and you can choose any of the images, right? And that is the save point for the Windows. So you can choose any of the images. That means any of the save points of those images, and you can roll back the state of your Windows to that particular image. So similarly, we have got save points in database transaction also. So you have done one transaction, you make a save point over there, and you do a second transaction. You can again make a save point over there. Third transaction, you can again make a save point over there. And then while we were looking at the rollback command, you can see that this rollback connection.rollback, this has got two overloaded versions. One is the rollback that I have used with an empty parenthesis, that means no parameter, that's on the connection object. It also returns nothing, it's void. And then roll back, and it takes a save point. So basically, this rollback is basically one that will take you to a particular save point and start rollback from that particular save point. So you have to try this, and with the save point as well, and let me know what impact does it have on your code and what you learn out of it. So this is what you got to try, and tomorrow also I will give you another assignments that you have to do. What I will do is I will give you the I will export this database in a SQL file and give it to you, my database, that you can replicate and build on your own machine. The same database will be created, the tables will be created, everything will be created, and then I will give you certain code, and I will ask you either to debug them or to make certain changes to them, and something similar to this you can expect in the assignments. Okay, so we will still I need to figure out what assignment I should give to you. So I will do it today, in fact tonight, and then we will meet in the tomorrow's class, and we will proceed further with the assignments. The tomorrow class is totally dedicated for the assignment, nothing else. Okay, guys, any questions? So for today, I have already given you the assignment. You have to go through this document. You have to try the code that they have given, the way they have created a transition to fail, and then what you have to do is you have to try it with the save points. Any questions? Okay, so you guys may log off. Thank you.